The story of Russia begins many centuries ago. It starts in the vast lands of Eastern Europe. Slavic tribes lived there for a long time. In the 9th century, new people arrived. These were Vikings, known as Varangians. A Varangian chieftain named Rurik is traditionally credited. He established control in the northern city of Novgorod around 862 AD. Rurik's successor, Oleg, moved down the Dnieper River. He captured the settlement of Kyiv around 882 AD. Kyiv became the center of a new state known as Kyivan Rus. Early rulers like Igor and his wife Olga worked hard to consolidate power. Sviatoslav, their son, expanded the state's borders significantly. A pivotal moment for Kyivan Rus was its conversion to Christianity. Prince Vladimir the Great adopted Eastern Orthodox Christianity in 988 AD. This aligned Kyivan Rus with the Byzantine Empire culturally and religiously. By the 12th century, Kyivan Rus began to fragment, setting the stage for a new chapter in Russian history. The 13th century brought immense devastation to the Russian lands. Nomadic warriors from Central Asia appeared. These were the Mongols, led by Genghis Khan and his successors. In the 1230s and 1240s, Batu Khan led a massive invasion. The Mongol armies swept across the fragmented Russian principalities. Cities like Kyiv, Vladimir, and Ryazan were razed. The Mongols established a vast empire known as the Golden Horde. The Russian principalities became its vassals, forced to pay heavy tribute. During the Mongol period, new centers of power began to emerge. Principalities such as Tver and Moscow started to gain prominence. The princes of Moscow proved to be shrewd and patient rulers. They began the long process of gathering the Russian lands around Moscow. The rise of Moscow continued steadily through the 14th and 15th centuries. Prince Dmitry Donskoy achieved a significant victory at the Battle of Kulikovo in 1380. This victory was a symbolic turning point. Later, under Ivan III, known as Ivan the Great, Moscow grew stronger. In 1480, Ivan III effectively ended Mongol dominance over Russia. He consolidated Moscow's rule over other Russian lands. Ivan IV, grandson of Ivan III, was the first ruler to be formally crowned Tsar in 1547. He is known as Ivan the Terrible. Despite internal terror, Ivan IV expanded Russia's territory. He conquered the Khanates of Kazan and Astrakhan. After Ivan the Terrible's death, Russia entered a period of crisis known as the Time of Troubles. It lasted from 1598 to 1613. Finally, a national uprising expelled the invaders. In 1613, Michael Romanov was elected Tsar, marking the beginning of the Romanov dynasty. Peter the Great, a later Romanov, dramatically changed Russia. He introduced sweeping westernization reforms. He built a new capital, St. Petersburg, on the Baltic Sea. Catherine the Great continued this ambition in the late 18th century. She expanded the empire further, particularly to the south and west. The early 20th century was a time of great turmoil for Russia. The country suffered a humiliating defeat in the Russo-Japanese War of 1904 to 1905. The 1905 revolution forced Tsar Nicholas II to grant limited reforms, including the creation of a parliament, the Duma. Russia's involvement in World War I from 1914 proved disastrous. The army suffered massive losses, the economy collapsed, and people faced severe hardship. These pressures led to the February Revolution in 1917. Tsar Nicholas II was forced to abdicate, ending centuries of Romanov rule. The Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, seized power in October 1917. Lenin and the Bolsheviks aimed to create a communist state and quickly withdrew Russia from World War I. A brutal civil war erupted, lasting from 1918 to 1922. The Bolsheviks eventually triumphed, and in 1922, the USSR was formally established. By the late 1920s, Joseph Stalin emerged as the new leader. Joseph Stalin's rule reached its most brutal phase in the 1930s during the Great Purge. Millions of perceived enemies of the state were executed or sent to Gulag labor camps. Despite this internal terror, the Soviet Union prepared for war. In 1941, Nazi Germany invaded the USSR, beginning the Great Patriotic War. The war caused immense suffering, but the Soviet Union ultimately defeated Germany and emerged as a global superpower. This set the stage for the Cold War, a long period of tension with the United States. After Stalin's death in 1953, Nikita Khrushchev came to power. He denounced Stalin's crimes, leading to a period known as the Khrushchev Thaw. In 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev became the leader of the Soviet Union. He introduced policies of glasnost and perestroika. On December 25, 1991, the Soviet Union officially dissolved, leading to the creation of 15 independent states. Russia, as the largest successor state, faced a difficult transition, with Vladimir Putin becoming acting president at the end of 1999.